I've taken a couple of images from the internet which I'm going to pose in Maya with the packageman. But before we do it, it is always convenient that we follow this procedure. Open the image with paint. So you can see this is the chest line and this is the pelvis line. The curve of the torso is something like this and the curve of the legs are something like this, opposite. Going for the head, this is again something this. Hands. So these are the lines which have been plotted on the image just to figure out how the skeleton of the packageman will look. Similarly, we are going to do the same with these poses. So guys, if you see, these were the lines which were plotted just for the sake of our understanding as to how we can easily control the skeleton and get the desired pose. So these are our guiding lines. Open the packageman, select camera, Control A, that is for the attributes, environment, image plane, create. We need to create an image plane here. And in that image plane, we will project that pose which we are going to make. Then under the image plane attributes, you get the image name. Go to the folder. We'll start with pose number 3 and the pose number 3 comes here. Now you need to adjust the image to match the size of the packageman. So there are these parameters, image center, weight and all these things. If we make it 1, what happens? Yeah. So we'll just try to pose the image just by the side of the character. If needed, you can also make it overlap or something like that. Offset. And now the image is almost coinciding with the character. We'll put a value here and check whether it is keeping a gap or not. That will be convenient for us. If needed, you can also move the image in whichever way you like. You can shift it here also. So guys, check out the line of the chest. I'll hide this grid. Check out the line of the chest. It's like this, and the pelvis, it's like this. Of course, as per the walk and run cycle, we know that whatever manipulations we are giving, we should try to equally distribute among the other controllers also. Otherwise, it will look very inorganic. So if we have given this rotation, we'll reduce it and we'll increase it from the bit. And whatever rotation we have given it from here, we'll try to increase it a little bit. Same funda guys, as we have done for the walk and the run cycle for bouncing ball. Everything will be implemented. So you see, the chest line and the pelvis line we have matched. The head line has gone a little bit to this side. Focused a little forward. Let's see. Now check out, this leg is more straight than this leg. So it means that this leg is a bit bent. The left leg of the character is a bit bent compared to the right leg. Because since the body is tilted towards this side, the pelvis needs to be shifted to this side, as we know from the principle of the walk cycle. The feet, as you know from the PDF of my do's and don'ts, I think you've already gone through it. Do not keep it focusing totally forward, but there always will be a little bit of rotation outwards. It's the usual thing. You can stand on your own feet, own legs, and you can check out for yourself. Like a salute, he's pointing towards his head. Come here. Make the entire value 0. Always for our convenience, if you're getting confused, give 0 and then pose it out from the beginning. So all the other fingers are bent. They are bent to 100%. 2 of these things are focusing. And what about the thumb finger? No, the thumb finger is also curved in. So try to manipulate with your controllers as to how you can adjust the graph or the gap. And then it is pointing towards the head. Let's give it to 180. We don't see much of a break between the wrist and the forearm. So we'll also try to manipulate that. This hand is up. The shoulder is also quite up in this place. It would have been easier if I could have shown you a 360-degree turn of this model, but unfortunately which I don't have. So we need to figure it out how things can look good. Since the body structure, the scale of the hands and everything is not similar to that of this sailor, so I cannot guarantee you 100% same pose, but the basic essence will be the same. Okay, there's a gap between these, so let me touch the forehead as much as possible. He's keeping the hands inside his pocket or his place. Now, since it doesn't have it, we'll try to manipulate as much as possible. Pole vector of the arm, that is to adjust the elbow. All the fingers are curved. So what we'll do here, we'll go here and or index and curl and whatever, we'll make it to 0. The thumb finger is however inside this mesh because virtually there's no gap between the body and the mesh and this mesh of the underwear. We'll just tuck it inside. Little bit rotate the curl the thumbs. Just see guys, the thumb rotates, and of course a little part of the mesh has been crashing with this one. This is not desirable of course, but we can't help. Now you can see that there's virtually very less gap between this arm and the body, but here the model is different, so we can't do that much. The elbow is quite a bit forward. This pelvis has gone a little bit more to that side. So what we'll do, we'll select the pelvis, both the arms, and then press the W and go to the world. What happens with the world? All your controllers move at the same time with the same ratio. We are not going towards the expression as of now. So this is more or less how we can pose it. Let's click on the packageman on the time slider, key this pose. Before going to the next pose, I would suggest you to go to any other key and make all the values of packageman to 0. The main funda is we should store the default pose of packageman somewhere else or the other, so that whenever needed we can directly go to the key and access it. The pose is being stored. So let's go to frame number 2. That is the second frame, or you can go to 3, 4 or anywhere you like, and we will jump for making the next pose. So we'll select this plane, Control A, and instead of again creating a new camera and again doing it again, we'll go here, click on this one, and we'll go to pose number 2. Similarly, we need to manipulate this thing. Instead of taking this one, we should have taken the one which has the lines drawn on it. The packageman will go to frame number 25, middle click, come to frame number 2. So the same pose is being copied, and we will try to take it down. It is being sitting here, the legs and everything. This leg is more or less like this. First we will pose the pelvis. The character is being rotated on that side. Pelvis, check the pelvis line. Then as you can see from the spine 1 and spine 2 and the chest, the body is getting a bend. We'll try to give a bend to the body, and as you can see that the chest is not focusing directly 100% to the camera, but a little bit rotated on that side. As you know earlier, I shouldn't have given all the rotation here, but would have distributed little bit evenly in this one and also a bit of this one. So this hand is lying directly on the ground. We'll position the limbs and let's see. It would have been better if I could have shown you the 360-degree rotation of this one, but I don't have the images. Anyway, eventually you will come to know how things work out. Pole vector goes inside. So guys, see how the pole vector, by the pole vector we are able to achieve it. Check out the shoulders now. Head is quite a bit focusing to that side and it's not facing the camera at all. The knee of the right leg is focusing the camera. This is the right leg, and the pole vector Till now we have not focused much on the hip, neither in the walk cycle nor in the run cycle. Now here the hip plays a major role. So guys, before you start posing on any character is to check the rig. See, the posing which I have done here, I couldn't have done with the pelvis alone, the back, but again just check how the knee is going beneath the ground. So we'll lift it up a little bit, but again then this part of the leg is going much more up. Okay, what is the position of the feet here? The feet is a bit tilted on that side. Let's get the basics done first. The left hand is resting on the knee of the left leg. As you know, since one hand is forward and then is backward, the hand which is in forward, the shoulder also will be rotated forward, and the one which is backward, the shoulder also will be rotated back. This is the funda from the walk cycle that we have learnt. There's a little bit of bend in the elbow, guys, if you have seen. So we'll try to give the bend, but unfortunately the rig which is being here, the packageman, does not match with that of the normal human being. It's a little bit cartoony. We are not able to gain exactly what it is. Carefully, if you focus on the fingers, you will see that 1, 2, 3, 4, these 4 fingers have a curl. But the value of the curl for all the 4 fingers are not the same. Usually it is being seen that the curl of the little finger or the pinky, what you call in animation, happens to be the maximum, and then the ring finger has the little one. Compared to the ring finger, the middle finger has less curl and the index finger has the least. Thumb finger is independent of the all others, and so we'll come on to this later on. Okay. Anyway, any confusion, press it 0 and it will come back. What we can see that the hand is a bit turned side down. Do not do only with this wrist, but also use the pole vector. The fingers are not spaced wide apart. So let's reduce the spread values of the fingers too. The head a little bit up, but focused more towards that side. Chest. Now you see the line of the chest which has been given here is from down to up. But what happened here by mistake is from up to down. You have to rectify this part. This is the advantage which you get if you draw the lines just to check on more what the body is going to be. Head a little bit down on that side. It got away from the top of the knee, so let it come and touch it. Once you convert it into high res, you will see that all these penetrations are gone. So this is more or less how the pose is. And go to this one, click on the smooth. So check the smooth controllers. Since this hand is being rotated back. Similarly, for the third picture, we are going to do the same. Come here, get the default pose, middle click, go to frame number 3. So this is pose number 1, this is pose number 2, and then again we are going to pose number 3. First we will get the basic of this pose. The determinant factor, look carefully, is the heel of this character is quite raised up. So this is the first thing which is going to matter. After that we'll come to the torso. Now guys, if you see here, there's the option of roll ball. In some rigs it will be heel up or something like that. So the names might vary. See, in this type of poses where there's a major change in the pelvis part, I mean a major rotation is there in the pelvis part, we have to take the help of the hips. The back of the body or the pelvis is directly not leaning forward, but it is leaning backward a bit, and then spine 1 and spine 2 and the chest, they roll forward to get a nice arc. So what we will do, instead of rolling it forward, we'll roll it backward. Yeah. And then the spine 1, spine 2, chest. Let's adjust the heel and see how there's a nice arc which is being formed in the body. And if you see, the head is up. Head is up, looking a bit to that side. In many rigs you also find the neck controller, but here it is not there. The feet should never be parallel to each other. Either it has to be inward or a bit outward. All vectors will adjust. And then the hands. Guys, as you know, since the hands are going down, no matter whatever you see in the image or whatsoever, always rotate down the shoulders. And if you see, these two arms are going in between the two legs. Push it inside. There's a very less gap, almost there's no gap between these two arms. No, the two arms have not reached the feet level yet. Guys, carefully notice that even if I'm taking this controller down, the hands are sticking to this level. So guys, this is actually a wrong procedure. Check out the length or the stretch of the hand. Till here we can see the bend of the hand slowly as it coming down. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Now this is the point where the hand is 100% straight. Usually in terms of IK joints, it is preferable not to make any arms or limbs 100% straight. There has to be a minimum bend. Maybe the hand can be 99.9% straight, but that 0.1% bend has to be there. Otherwise, in course of time while you are doing the animation, you will see that if you make any arms, like any limbs or any arms 100% straight, immediately in the next frame it will give you a jerk. So this is the maximum straight that we can do. So let's make it 99.9% straight and see whether it touches the ground. No, it does not touch the ground. So whatever hand we could have done, we have did it. Now it's time for us to manipulate the pelvis or the spine 1, spine 2, whichever works out fine. Let's see, this is touching. Now you see, though the hand is touching the ground, now the bend of the hand is too much. So whatever bend we have given from the pelvis, now we are taking those things out. This hand, on the other hand, let's see. Yeah, this is also touching. We cannot make the torso more down. We'll try to manipulate the shoulder and try to take out the maximum bend from the hand. But of course, in spite of doing these things, the hands are 99% straight. Let's convert it into the smooth one and see what are the parts where we need to adjust. Yes, buddy, this feet is creating a major problem. We'll go to 0 again, and what we can do is we'll try to reduce the roll ball value. Then the thigh, which was earlier straight or parallel to the ground, it's not happening. So we have to keep it parallel, and we'll keep it like this. I suppose it's a problem with the rig, the skinning part basically, that in spite of adjusting everything, there is a mesh crashing. No, that's not possible. Check how the heel has gone up. The torso has formed a perfect round and the head is up. So these are the three poses: first, second, third. I hope guys you have been able to understand how we can manipulate these controllers to achieve these poses. And it's not only what you see, but there are some other hidden things also to be taken care of. Like if you rotate the pelvis 100% and don't do anything with these controllers, then things will not look as good as is being given in this image. So that's pretty much of it in the posing section. And the more we do the acting part, the more we get into the character animation, the more deep we will be getting into posing, and of course the expressions will be taken care of at that point of time. Now let's focus on the graph editor. Just a couple of points. Create polygon cube. Just increase the scale for a better viewing. Go to the timeline and create a key here. Go to frame number 30 somewhere and just drag it over there and key it. So there have been two keys which has been formed. Let's go to the graph editor, and of course, since we have manipulated only in the translation X, this is the default graph which Maya creates by itself. Let's make a play blast and name it as 0, 1. So once we see how it works out. In the initial stages, the cube was just slowing up a little bit, then it gained the momentum here, and in the end it slowed down. This is what's happening exactly due to this graph editor factor. In the beginning it had an ease out or a very slow out, and then in this area it gained the maximum speed, and again in this part it slowed down. That is the reason the graph is like an S. If you see carefully, it forms the shape of an S. Now here you can see that there are many options, but there are certain options which you just need to take care. No need to think about all the other things. So this is a graph which is being formed. Let's come here. What does it say? This is a linear tangent. Okay, let's click it. Can you see already how the S curve actually changed to like a straight one? This is called the linear tangent. So if I click the linear tangent, we see, guys, there is no ease in or ease out. There is no slow in, slow out. It's just one straight line which is being formed. So let's check out the play blast now. Give it a name as 2. So this is 1 and this is 2. Guys, if you see this play blast number 2, the transition of the cube from this position to this position is very even. There is no ease in, ease out, or it is not gaining any speed, neither it is dropping down on any speed. Whereas we can see the thing over here, the first one which we made. Initially the speed was less, in between the speed was maximum, and in the end again it slowed down. This is happening mostly because of this graph editor. Since we have not manipulated in any other axis, we can only focus on this translate X. Guys, check out this one. This is called the linear tangent and this is called the flat tangent. What is a flat tangent? The flat tangent is the one which was formed in the initial stages automatically by the Maya software. Suppose if in this part we take this tangent and move it up like this. I don't know, guys. Let's check out what happens. This we will name as number 3. Number 3 is the bottommost play blast. Control L. Let's play these. This was the first one where in the initial it was slow, then in between it gained the speed and again it slowed down. This is the second one where the cube was traveling in a equal speed from the first to the last. Now check this one. Initially the speed was pretty high, and as it went back it slowed down like a very much softer pace. This is happening mainly due to the graph editor. If you see, it started from here. So just check out from this part in frame number 5. This is the frame count. These are the frame counts 1, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So you see from frame number 1 to frame number 5, it almost covered so much of distance. Just check the distance. So of course the speed is maximum here. From frame number 5 to frame number 10, the distance covered was a bit less compared to that of the first phase. Now frame number 10 to frame number 15, if you say the distance covered is even lesser than that of the previous one, that is from 5 to 10, and hence from 15 to 20 and from 20 to 25. Just check what is the distance that is getting covered from 25 to 30. Can you see how much less it covered up? 20 to 30. Let's go here a bit more. Then 25 to 30. Like, it's so negligible that if you mark it out, then this is the maximum. If you mark it out, this will be the maximum. If you mark this is the maximum, this one, and then of course in the last it's the maximum. So if we draw the 3 boxes and compare those like boxes with one another, then we can see the how much of the graph is being covered and in what amount of time. So guys, you see how the graph editor can be manipulated. Let's go back again to the normal one. And now let's do the same thing here. Just check out. So if you see from 24 to 30, what is the distance it is being covered up? Again, from here to here, it reduces, and as it goes here, things will get reduced. Exactly what happened compared to the earlier one. Now, let's go to the play blast. Mark it as 4. So initially the speed is more, and as it went back, as it went to the end, the speed reduced. Check this one. Initially the speed is very less, and as it is progressing, the speed is increasing. So just try to compare those play blasts which we have done as of now and check how the change in the graph editor affects the animation. Guys, what happens if we do something like this? Did you see, buddy? Make a play blast. What's happening? Whoa, it's going back. Did you see? This is the initial stage and this is the last stage. I'm absolutely okay with that. But what is this? Why is it going back? Did we do anything? Did we set any key? If you go to the viewport, frame number 1 to frame number maybe 12 or 13, even 14 also, the cube is going back, and from there it is going forward. But do you see any key here? The problem lies here. Carefully look, guys. This is the initial stage. You can see that the yellow line or the cursor is in frame number 1. Logically, it should have gone directly from here to here. Is in, is out, slow in, slow out, absolutely fine. But what it did, in course of time, it went back. And you see, guys, if I make it more down, it's going more back. More down and it's going more back. So it is going back and then it is going forward. So if these type of graphs happen at any given point of time, guys, please be aware and do not allow these type of graphs unless and until it is being intentionally allowed to do so, or there is some specific purpose. If you want to make something like this, come here, create a key, and then you can move your graphs. You can give an ease in, ease out, or slow in, slow out, whatever it might be. But if these type of graphs get formed, it usually does not, but there are times where due to the wrong manipulation from our side or whatever it might be, there are cases where the graph, instead of going from here to here, it goes down, it dips down, and then it gives a different way or a different feel to the animation. I'll also show you with the help of the packageman in the later stages, but for the time being, just check out with the normal cube. Similarly, we'll just convert it into the linear one, and what we will do, we'll go here, just check. Due to mistake or something, it might happen like this, but then what happens? This is the starting point, cool. Did you see this part? Did you see this part from 21 to 30? 21 to 30, it went ahead, and then it settled back. Of course, if you can see the graph editor, this graph was supposed to go from here to here. Slow in, slow out, ease in, ease out, absolutely they're okay, or in a linear fashion also, that was okay. But what happened is, this graph, instead of going like this in a usual manner, it went ahead and crossed the limit and it went up. So guys, if you really want to make any animation like this, always come here, set a key, and then whatever you might, not an issue. But without a key, if a graph is going like this, then I would prefer not to allow these type of things. But please pay attention toward this part whenever you deal with the character animation. Let me show you something similar with the packageman. This is the earlier file which we had done, you remember. So I'll shift these keys a bit later. Let me make it sit here. Go to frame number 9 or 10 somewhere. And so let's consider that the packageman was standing here, and from here it has come here. It is changing from pose to pose. Just check this thing. The packageman was standing, it came down and settled. Just check what's happening. From frame number 9 to frame number 15, we do not see any movement of any other body parts apart from the pelvis. If we go to the graph editor, so from 9 to 15, There's no change in the translation X. Translation Z is also fine. We don't see any change anywhere. However, in translation Y, from 9 to 15, the value of 9 is 8.448 or whatever. Exact the same value is in 15. But the issue, what happened is, from 9 to 15, when the graph was going, it did not go in a straight way. Rather, it followed a curve. So you see in 9 it is coming here, and if we directly click on 15, so we don't see any change. Perfectly fine. But what's happening when the body is going and passing through all these keys? It's going down and again coming back in 15. So sometimes it might also happen that you do not create any key, but your character is doing some unwanted animations, some unwanted movements. In those cases, please check the graph. Click it to flat tangent, and now you see. So whatever we did with that cube earlier, I tried to show you the same thing with one of these characters. Now let's come to another part of this graph. What we'll try to do is, here packageman is keeping his right hand on his forehead. In 10, we'll just take down the hand of packageman. The hand is coming down and the hand is settling down. I don't see any issue in that. Now, okay. So let's go to the in-between and check how it's happening. No, there's something wrong here, right? Instead of the hands being coming down normally, it's going down, turning and twisting, and it's coming down. There's something wrong with the wrist. Now we have an option in the Maya graph editor that if something happens like this, just go here, curves, Euler filter. So what's happening now? Yes, that's exactly how we want it to be. But why did it happen? If you guys carefully notice this part, I had given a value of 360 intentionally, yes. Now you see, what is the difference between 0 and 360? Pose to pose, we don't see any change. But when we take it down, we see that there's a lot of turns and twists which the wrist has undergone. So sometimes it might happen that while manipulating the controllers, while doing any changes, there might be some values which might mistakenly be taken over by the controller, and these type of problems happen. Whenever you see any rotation value more than 180, please pay attention to that. Usually any rotation, unless and until it is required, like a vault or a back vault or a full rotation of the body, we do not usually go above 180, but here it happened. So you see here the rotation Z value is 360. If we make it 0, it's the same. Now it's perfectly fine. So whatever we did with the Euler filter, the same we did it manually. So that's basically the work of the Euler filter. Let me show you another example. Here the packageman is looking in front, and in frame number 10 the packageman is looking by the side. So if we just flip the frames, the keyframes, we don't see any abnormalities. But if we scrub it and see what's happening, because if you see carefully in rotation Z, the value is 720. 720 is way much more compared to what we should give in a normal head turn. Come to this rotation part, rotation Z. That's quite a huge amount. Now how about if we go here, curves, Euler filter. Check the change in the curve which happened. And now we'll go here and you see how smoothly it is happening. So this Euler filter is the automated process of the graph editor. And if you want to do it manually, then what you should have done, 720, just give it to 0. So this is how there are times where we need to adjust, and please pay attention to any rotation where the value is more than 180.